relationships are the foundation of a healthy, functional society. If we want better households, if we want better communities, if we want better societies, we must become healthy individuals. And I believe that hookup culture is an enemy to health, mental, physical, and emotional. I believe that hookup culture leads to greater levels of trauma, greater levels of dysfunction, greater levels of chaos and confusion. And so that being said, just essentially to give y'all some insight, like this ain't just a dude giving a dude's opinion. Oh, you don't know, you don't understand. It's about the liberation and the empowerment of women. I promise y'all been sold a crock. It's a lie and it's been exposed. And finally, people are able to talk about it without being afraid and you know, the info's out there, but it's still not out there at the level it needs to be because the propaganda machine has pushed this information, shoved it down our throats, and we have accepted it as truth, but now people are telling the truth of their own experiences. So that being said, here's a video by a young lady by the name of Heaven Sent Honey. She looks kind of familiar. You never know. Maybe she just has one of those faces, but I don't remember watching a video by her, but I do know that after just looking at a snippet of this video, she seems to be an insightful individual. So again, I'm going to give my quick 2 cents on her 2 cents. And, you know, I will stop intermittently just to, again, give those 2 cents. So let's let her give her 2 cents.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm feeling very Schiaparelli today. You know, Schiaparelli couture. The topic of hookup culture is not new, but as it endures to poison our society's view on relationships, I think it's time to double down and speak clearly of its malignancy. I despise hookup culture, and as a woman, I become insulted when it's fabled as a resource for sexual freedom.
Shabarakanda. Okay, she's talking that talk. She came for it today. She came for it all today. Good for you, Heaven Sent. You are speaking that, and I can see it on your face. You're not playing. You came for business, strictly business. The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Freedom. If sexual freedom means bodily autonomy, it does not mean that you submit to your instincts, or in most cases, just plain poor judgment. Sexual liberation is achieved when you're in control of your body, of your mind, of your decisions. The choice to engage with somebody intimately is one of determination. If you submit to the false promise of an ebullient sex life through hookup culture, you are going to quickly find yourself a fool. I hear countless stories of women going through countless men, often after drinking heavily, and just waking up in the morning feeling lesser, feeling disappointed by their partners.
That's something we don't like to get into. What state of consciousness are most people in when they're engaging in that lifestyle? Now, look, I stopped drinking before I turned 21. I know that sounds crazy. I started at 14, right? By 19, I was done. I was out of that entire lifestyle. But one thing I do remember is that, you know, when I was able to access clubs, etc., that these were environments filled with people that were on one. They were intoxicated, period. And so those who are engaging in such a lifestyle are not exactly the most sober-minded, rational-thinking individuals in most cases. So I'm just going to lay that out there, but let sis continue on because she's already chopping wood.
There's performance, or worse, feeling indifferent about what had transpired. I mean, sounds great, doesn't it? The thing that makes itself very clear to me after talking to these women is that instead of that hookup, they would rather have just stayed at home and read a book, or stayed with their friends for the remainder of the night, or better yet, doing something productive, something that made you happy. When it comes to casual hookups, I feel that you should be discerning, should master the art of delayed gratification, of seduction, and build up your intuition to know when a partner is right for you, even if it is only for one evening. I also feel the need to mention that I do not subscribe to the idea that only men benefit from the hookup culture craze or the normalization of sex work. I believe that easy access to intimacy harms both men and women. But I definitely will say that women take it harder on themselves. especially since women do not reach the same level of satisfaction with
Now,
the
one
same
thing I will
ease.
say again, I disagree with is that there is any benefit to one night stands, period. Even if you choose the right and correct partner, it is your business. You are grown. You can do what you want, right? You find Rico Suave or Rica Suave, and you want to do what you want to do. Y'all are grown. But I will say that it is not going to be conducive to you. That's my opinion. So, but I understand where she's coming from. To each their own.
Satisfaction with the same ease that men do. I have definitely heard from men, though, too, that even after they've reached that satisfaction, they are still able to reflect on the emptiness that is felt afterward.
Absolutely.
The point that I want to get across here is that nobody wins in hookup culture.
Yep.
It's destructive. I mean, it's actively working against a connection that should actually make intimacy more interesting, more exciting. The common adjective that I hear that is used to describe these multiple encounters with strangers is cheap. Cheap. Ladies and gentlemen, intimacy is sacred. If you've been watching me for a while, then you'll know that I take seduction very seriously. I believe that you should seduce yourself before sharing yourself with another person. I believe in the arena of pursuit, or the long game, as some people would call it. I believe your life, your intimate life, should be filled with theater and enchantment and meaningful interactions. And above all, I believe in individualism, the importance of what you want, the lucidity that it takes to make those decisions. Hookup culture, to me, seeks to diminish the importance of those things. Too many people yield to the dark chaos pit of their instincts, and the beauty, the art of intimacy is cruelly dismissed for what? A quickie in the bathroom? Something after a sloppy makeout on a beer-drenched floor? It's a tragedy. It's cheap. Those of you who condone hookup culture.
Again, I don't know what her definition of the self-seduction or seduction. I don't know, right? Again, I don't know any of her other content, right? But I'm sure it in her own views, it is something that is positively inclined. I could only assume that because she seems like an individual who is a advocate of self-respect. You know what I mean? So again, sometimes it's just semantics. Sometimes it's just word differences. But yeah, again, chopping wood. She's speaking for
who see the light in it, and are asking me why. Why, Celine, is it all that bad to get dressed up, get boozed up, listen to music, have a good time, and leave with somebody that you met at the bar? What is so terrible about that? And what is so terrible about doing that frequently in your youth? Well, here it is in my humble opinion. 1. Hookup culture relies on poor and often impaired judgment, leading to sometimes very unsavory ends, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
But often, so often, leading to a feeling of self-degradation or just general dissatisfaction. 2, hookup culture is extremely vapid, using outward appearance and physical attractiveness as an indication of sexual adeptness. Take it from me, beauty is very misleading. And I'm not saying that because I think I'm pretty. I'm saying as somebody that advocates for beauty, it's full of false promises. 3, hookup culture jades you. It makes intimacy feel like brushing your...
Did y'all? That was just... Beauty can be misleading. That goes for both men and women. Oh my God, he is so fine. Damn, she's bad. So, what does that have to do with anything? Who are they? Fine? No. Fine is not who they are. It's how they present themselves to be and how we physically perceive them. But that has very little, sometimes the opposite, to do with who that person actually is. Do not be fooled by looks. Don't.
Makes intimacy feel like brushing your teeth and equates vulnerability in connection to something like a chore. People stop being people. We stop making the necessary connection that is so important to just being human. Intimacy becomes monotonous and almost transactional. 3,
Yes.
hookup culture praise.
Yes. Celine is the name? Okay. Celine, on point. Transactional. I've always seen clubs or those types of settings, right? It's just the easiest to point to, as a place where it's a breeding ground for narcissism, both men and women. because you have individuals who are looking to get something. I want attention. I want sexual gratification. I want transaction. You give me this, I give you that. You give me that, I give you this. You numb my pain, I give you a little bit of gratification for the moment. Talk that talk, girl. Talk that talk.
Is on the emotionally wounded and seeks to open that wound wider. The first thing that I see people do after a breakup especially, or after some kind of tragic event in their life, is they look for a stand-in to numb that pain. And that is properly the very last thing you should do.
Yes.
Hookup culture exacerbates issues that you have, and it doesn't promote gradual healing or self-reflection.
Yes.
It doesn't advocate for the solitude necessary to get through those hard moments in your life, which a lot of character building happens in that time.
Facts.
And number 5, lastly, hookup culture does not honor the sacred, something I am a proponent for. Not enough time passes in hookup culture for there to be theater and beauty and ritual. Those things that make intimacy so divine and singularly fulfilling. There is no seduction. There is no pursuit or chase or meandering. It's all just so startlingly abrupt. There's no patience, no virtue. There's no consideration for the eroticism leading up to just speaking to a potential partner.
Wow.
And I'm not even talking about foreplay at this point. I'm talking about setting the tone, setting the scene, what Anais Nin called glances marrying in space. What about the eroticism of yielding, of not giving in? As intelligent beings, we are capable of sending intimacy and eroticism to soaring heights. Human beings are capable of so much more, even if it is a one-night stand. That one evening can be earth-shattering if there's a proper amount of time that has gone by before it happens. So I think I made my point there very clearly. And now you may ask, well, what is my solution? Discipline, baby. I hate saying it like this because it sounds...
Okay, we're going to end it right there. Again, I'm not a proponent of one-night stands whatsoever, even with the entire build-up, etc. You know, I understand the sentiment of romance and things of that nature, but I am a advocate and a proponent for building healthy family dynamics. That's what I stand on. And the last word she said there is crucial. It is vital. It is everything. Self-discipline, which is a byproduct of self-respect, because when you respect yourself or when you love yourself, you will do things not because of instinct and not because of urge, but instead based upon your highest ideals. The things that you value most are going to be first and foremost in your value system. Your values lead your actions as opposed to your emotional instinct or emotional impulses or, instant gratification being the triggers for your actions. And so there you have it. Another opinion on a subject that I believe is absolutely crucial to talk about every single day until we change the culture back to what it essentially, at least I've seen what it once was, right? Make intimacy a thing again. Like we used to. Trust me, I do believe that there has been a drastic upswing and there has been an intention to push this narrative out there. I'm not going to say it's necessarily an evil agenda, but there have been those who have been benefiting off of our own misery and our own suffering. And so for me, I say we must take our power back. It's the only way. And the only way to take your power back is the word she said right there, discipline. We have to be able to think for ourselves, to not have our actions determined by our past stories or our past traumas or the unresolved aspects of our persona.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a hardening heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon.